Good morning, everyone. My name is Alyssa Cooper, and this is Cooking in Quarantine. I'm the queen of the timer. It keeps me honest and keeps me, makes it possible for me to keep track of time on these mornings when things are as they are. So, what are we doing this morning? This morning I'm going to make brandied peaches. This is a way of preserving with alcohol, right? We talked about infusing alcohol. We fat washed alcohol yesterday. And now what I'm going to do is do these. I'm going to do them in a couple of small jars so that I can have them in single servings. So over here I have my peaches in some hot water. I've got ice water here. In a minute I'm going to plunge these peaches into the ice water so that, and I just realized I did this backwards, and then they will be in good shape for peeling. I've also got some hot water here that I'm going to use to make sure that my little jars are free of bacteria. In a minute, I'm going to put I'll put the tops on so that the rubber can soften up and then get a better seal. So now I'm going to come over here. I'm really winging it today with my equipment, but here is peach number 1 in the ice water. I scored these peaches before. Ooh, we are right to the tippy top of the water here. So I'm just going to let those sit for a minute so that they get to the point where I can handle them. And I guess there's no reason to run the steam at this point, right? So I'm going to close this one up, and I'm going to find something like a towel. I have a whole bunch of towels right here. And I will take these and put my little tops in there so that they can get sterilized as well, especially now that one of them is in the floor. Here I come. I'll be back. Excellent. Here we go. So yesterday, fat washing was a great success. I used that to make a maple, that bacon bourbon, to make a maple bacon bourbon marinade. Cooked a pork loin with that, and then took the rest of that bacon, bourbon, maple, and cooked it down with some peach. It was fantastic. I did a little small potatoes, smashed them up with a little butter and sour cream, salt and pepper, and then made a little quick slaw. Just grated some cabbage, some carrots, threw some, I actually have some leftover pickle juice and leftover jalapeno juice. I tossed that in there with just a touch of mayonnaise, a little cider vinegar, and that was about it. And it just came together beautifully. Oh, clean glasses. So here we go. So I've got this in here, this in here. So all we need to do now, I guess I probably don't want to make a terrible mess of this. So maybe having a cutting board will make this not such a juicy mess. All right, because we're going to be dealing with these peaches. Here we go. And let's see how easily the skin might peel off of here. I'd love it if it just really peeled off easily, like it's supposed to promise me that it will. Let's try with a knife. Oh, here, this might be doing better. No, it is not doing better for me. Oh well, let's see. And I'll just give this a little bit of a peel. Sorry for the air conditioning noise, but today, with all of these steamy things going, I am going to keep it on. Otherwise, I'll just get hot and grumpy, and nobody wants a hot and grumpy lady in their house. Not even me. So, I think maybe I just should have kept these in a few seconds longer. I thought I'd left it in a couple of minutes, but anyway. Here we go. You guys out there who do more canning than I do, which would be, any would be better than what I do. So what we're going to do is get these peeled, and then they're going to go in, and I've already made over here in the little copper pot, which you may or may not be able to see, I've got some simple syrup made. Several of the recipes I looked at called for a really crazy high sugar to water ratio, and I just don't like that idea. I'm not enough of a sweet tooth. And what I'm thinking that I'm going to use this for is, after it's had time to sit and macerate for a while, that I will use it for toast up some pecans or some walnuts, and I will put it on ice cream or pound cake or something like that, right? So I am sorry that my attempt at peeling was not as successful as I hoped it would be, and so I'm going to ask you all to just hang in there with me, and I'm going to be a little less delicate about this one while I move on. So those of you who watch me know that I am not a fan of the current administration, never have been. Cried 90 days straight after the election of 16. The only reason I didn't cry the first day that I didn't cry was I was working harvest, and I simply was working too hard to think about it. So it is what it is simply not okay. I never want to hear the words that I am pro-life from anyone who is not wearing a mask. If you say you want the economy to open, wear a mask. That's all I'm going to say, guys. If you want to come on Facebook and talk about demon seed and crazy ass shit like that, you're off my feed, guys. I just can't do it. Life is too stressful right now for people to be walking around touting crazy ideas. So I'm not going to have it anymore. Y'all been put on warning. Hello, 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 Olivia. How are you, darling? I promise you I'm coming uptown very soon. So, what have I got here? I need to get my peaches into my sugar. So here I have a little bit just of some nice organic sugar. I did an equal parts of sugar and water. And now I'm going to score this some more because I want these little pieces are going to go in here. And I'm just going to cook them down for a few minutes until they start to soften up a little bit. Now I don't know what's going on here. I've got so much going on. Let's see. I guess I need to cut this. This is a cling stone, clearly, not a free stone. So let's see if we can get this out of here. Actually, maybe I'll just do it this way. Perfect. That's so much easier than pulling it out. So I'm getting my peach pieces out here. And there we go. So this is going to be great. And there's a little bit of pit piece here. My knife skills are not great. Do not do what I do. Only I can manage to do this way. So now I'm going to turn a little. Oh, that is my burner that's been giving me problems. So I'm going to have to turn this one back here. I don't know. I had a milk problem on here the other day. In the morning times, I always put a little tiny bit of milk into a pot, so that when I pour the milk into my coffee cup, that it will melt the sugar, right? And then my pour over gives it even more time to melt the sugar, so that it's well integrated in my cup of coffee. And the other day, as I very often will do, I got distracted by something in the other room, and my milk boiled over, and now I only have 3 little pieces of flame that shoots out over here. I assume one of these days it'll change, right? So let's see what happens if I just grab hold of this and give it this really did get a pretty good amount of softening while they were in my hot water. Here we are. Excellent. Now maybe I can cut that out. Beautiful. And this will go right into my sugar. So I'm just going to let this cook for a little while just to soften these up, because like I said, I'm going to use this like an ice cream or a pound cake topping. Toast some, what am I trying to say? I'm going to toast some pecans or some walnuts and break those up and put that on over there. I think it'll be fantastic. So now here's all of my peach yumminess going here into the syrup yumminess. And now you might want to lick my hands because of this. So Olivier, for those of you who might be also watching, has a couple of amazing restaurants. And I have been watching the progress of the new street side cafe being built, and it looks fantastic. That is so exciting. That's the best thing that's happened, I think. I mean, out of a lot of not good things happening, but we should have been, our avenues and street sides should have been completely covered with outdoor tables and outdoor seating, and the clever ways that people are coming up with putting umbrellas and coverings over top so that even when the weather is bad, we can still sit outside and dine. So the Slut Cup has a little iced coffee in it this morning. Excellent. So I've got my warm, plain little half jars here. And I'm going to dump this mess over here. And so all I'm going to do is, after these little guys have had the chance to cook in the sugar a little bit, I'm going to spoon them into the jars and put a little sugar over it, and then I'm just going to take a little brandy and pour over the top of it. Sugar, yes, but brandy also, because you want to have both of those flavors in there. The brandy will make sure that it stays nice and fresh, and I mean fresh by like not having foreign growth particles in there over the next few weeks and months. And it also might be really great to take it, I'm thinking maybe, like I said, a pound cake, maybe not pour it over a pound cake, but maybe I'll chop some of it up, or puree of it, some of it really finely, and do like a little streak of it through the middle of a pound cake. That might even be more delicious. You could mix this up with anything. So my sugar is starting to boil over here. So I don't think we want to do this more than a few minutes. I've got 3 minutes here because I don't want either my sugar water to get too hot, right? Nor do I want these peaches to overcook. But you could do this with anything. You can do it with berries. I almost bought cherries this morning, because what's better than brandied cherries? And I thought, like, at Christmas time, like a brandied cherry clafouti would be a really delicious thing to have around. But then I decided that the giant bag of cherries was more cherries than I wanted to pit and deal with. And then, as I was about to leave, I went to Whole Foods this morning, and because I don't have a blender, a full-size blender, I don't ever buy frozen fruit. But I realized you could probably use frozen fruit for a lot of this too. So cherries, blueberries, right? Jackfruit is everywhere. Dragon fruit is everywhere right now. Of course, like I said, I really wanted to do a gin pomegranate the other day. I still can't find pomegranate or pomegranate seeds anywhere, and literally my grocery store across the street always has like a soup-sized container of seeded pomegranates, and I don't know what's up. So anyway, maybe we're in that weird week when there just aren't any pomegranates. So we're about halfway through my 3-minute cooking of the peaches in syrup. It makes me think back in the 70s when all of our fruit from Dole came in, packaged in heavy syrup. It's a wonder we all weren't as fat as Aunt Pitty. So here we come. This is coming up nicely. I'm going to give it a little bit more of a stir. Here I am using a teaspoon, a little, not even fit to eat cereal with. That looks great. Coming along. I'm going to turn the heat down just a tiny bit. Go. And that's all going to be good. I might put just a little bit of brandy in the bottom of this just to get it started out and make sure that every little piece gets brandy on it. I do like a little brandy. That's a funny thing. Those of you who know me know that I work with a South African winery. One of the first things that I learned is that there's an old saying that it takes a lot of beer to make wine. And after a long, hard day of wine tasting, all you want is not a glass of wine. So, but in South Africa, they very often will end the day with a brandy and cola, which is not something that I have developed a taste for. So here we are, 8, 7, and 6, 5, 4, 3, 1, and we're done. So here are my little cooking peaches, and I really need to get some Red Lion to get my little container of my little copper pot looking better, don't I? So here's this. Give them a little bit of a stir. And I'm just going to put some peaches down in here. I hope that I have the right amount of peaches to go down in here. Make sure I don't overload one and underload the other. I'd like to have 2 servings of this if I can. Oh, nice. I think I have exactly the right amount. Oops, that's hot. Boiling sugar is hot, so do beware. More. Okay, so, and I also want to make sure that I've got sugar aplenty on this, so I'm going to make sure that the sugar is right up to the top of the fruit. There we go. A little bit more over here. Maybe that last little renegade piece there. And then I'm going to fill it the rest of the way up with Brandied. I thought a lot. It was a hard thing not to get cherries this morning, but there we go, all nice and filled up. I'll move this so you can see what we're doing. Oh goodness, heat off. All right, and so now I'm going to take these little guys, and I've had these in the hot water so that the rubber will be nice and pliable. There we go. And they're nice and clean. Perfect. All right. So, give that a nice little punch down. And a nice, maybe I should wait until this is not so hot to get it all the way on. I think that's probably a very good idea. Not being an expert canner, there you go. So guys, there's that. And now I still have some of this delicious peach scented sugar that I'm going to have to figure out something to do, like mix it with vodka and soda to make a little afternoon cocktail today. So that's about it for cooking in quarantine this week, guys. Like I said, until my refrigerator gets back to 100%, I feel like it's a little foolish to invest in a whole lot of food. So it's been a liquor week. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I will be in the refrigeration business again next week. I did manage to use the position of not having had a reliable fridge for a few weeks, and I got myself I got them to install a doorbell for me. 25 years, no doorbell. Who knew? So anyway, now I have no excuse to open the door when you come and knock gingerly, because now you can ring the doorbell. That's all, guys. It's a beautiful, I think it's going to be a nice weekend. Summer in the Northeast is waning. You know, if you've lived here, that somehow magically the day after Memorial Day, it's like suddenly fall descends upon us. You can still have a few more Indian summer days, indeed, but we can see the end of it. So today is one of those days I was up walking around because it was only like 72 when I left the house this morning. I love it. So guys, take care of yourselves. Get ready to make a nice little cocktail hour for yourselves. And I hope you all are taking care of yourselves. Take care of your mind, take care of your soul, take care of your body, take care of your friends, take care of your neighbors. You'll feel better, I promise. Ciao, everybody. Have a great day.